Welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and welcome to the Music Business Podcast, where you learn how to master the music business and stay legally protected all at once. We're broadcasting right now, not only on Instagram, which is on my phone, and I'll be able to remember it's on my phone this week. Good for me. But we're also broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. So for all my fam, everywhere that you are checking in, please drop a note in the comments. Let me know where you're checking in from. Today for the tea, we do not have our top music attorney cup. I just didn't think about it. But I'm kind of glad that I grabbed this one because then you guys can see the color of my tea, which is red. It's very cool. It's hibiscus tea. So hello, everyone in the chat. Let me know where you're checking in from. I know everyone's enjoying the fact that we are starting to finally have some cooler weather. Yay. I was just talking to the community and, people are wearing pants. We're wearing jackets. It is becoming tolerable outside, and I am very excited. So thank you very much for checking in. All right, so for today, of course, we're going to have our, industry segment where we talk about what's going on in the news. We're going to be discussing an update on the Swizz Beatz Timbaland battle and lawsuits. Okay, because do you guys remember they were doing the versus battles? A lot of us were watching, obviously, on Instagram, so they had some insane battles. So fun, like seriously, some of my favorite shows that I've watched. But in any case, there's a big lawsuit and there's been an update. So we'll cover what's happened. We're also going to talk about Super Bowl 2023. Did all of the mostly men watching just get interested? Well, we have some speculation that Taylor Swift is going to be performing the halftime show in 2023. I also have some thoughts on this because it's going to be in my home state and I actually might be there. So I don't know. There's going to be a lot happening. We're going to talk about it all. So let's go back to the chat. How are we doing? I love hibiscus tea. Yes, guys. I mean, if you haven't had hibiscus tea, you are just losing out in your life and you need it. It is kind of tart, but I really, really like it. Little love. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the content. Obviously, if you like the video, please like the video wherever you're watching and any of the videos that you watch of mine because it helps to just spread out the word. And that's how we grow as a community. We just share videos, we like them, we leave comments, and that's how we grow. So glad that you guys can be here. Hey, you got your badge today. That's cool. Yeah, I know on Facebook they do like special badges and rankings and things like that. So those are fun. Hello, hello. Greetings to Brooklyn, New York. Hey, Jason, good to see ya. All right, so we're going to run the intro here in a minute. Before we do that, oops, I'm replaying stuff. Yeah, more hibiscus tea love, definitely. So I'm going to run the intro. Before I do that, we have been working on, I saw that in the chat, there are singer-songwriters and artists. So of course, obviously that's a good portion of our community. And we are working on a course just for you because I want you guys to be able to go through this, be able to understand the music business, be able to rock it, stay legally protected, and know things like marketing. Okay, there's stuff that I had to learn as an artist that I'm going to teach you. So as we're kind of working on that, go to topmusicattorney.com. You'll see that there's a tab to get a free PDF. It's the 28 music business secrets that basically everyone trying to get into the music business should know. But when you do that, it'll be like, hey, what's your email? I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to steal it. That email is just for me so I can email you and give you updates when there's updates on the course. So go get that. Yay for you, because you'll get the PDF. You'll be very happy with it. I wrote it myself. And we are going to run the intro and do our thing. So make sure you drop. I know more of you are filing in right now. So drop in the chat where you are checking in from, and we will be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. Yep, Missouri. We also have some show updates and things to talk about. I'm gonna wait till we bring in that Orko for all things show related because he is, in fact, Mr. Producer. He is the other half of the show. That's good. That's good. I look professional. I'm enjoying that. Thank you. Good morning. All right. Hey. I love it when we have friends all around the world. Hello, Harley. Hey, you guys are so cool. Awesome. All right. So in random stuff that I'm just excited about, a lot of you do follow on social media, and so Top Music Attorney has been our fastest growing platform by far. And I'm excited to announce that we are about to hit, I think it's 60,000. So let me see if I can pull this up. My computer is just kind of doing some stutter steps right now. So if I kind of get a little funky, please let me know in the chat. But in any case, that's amazing. So for you who follow on Instagram, thank you so much for being there. Hi, guys. um, yeah, it's crazy because just a few months ago, we started to see all this really crazy growth. And we went from, I think, like 10,000 and then just shot up like within a month, I think by like 20,000. So the growth there has been awesome. And that just tells me that you guys are really enjoying the content that I'm putting out, which makes me very happy. Some of the stuff that I put out is a lot of the stuff that I put out is intended, obviously, just to be like fun, entertaining content. And, in addition to that, we're obviously working on other stuff. I'm recording music. I mean, I'm a busy lady. But in any case, here's the channel. We're at 58,800. Stop it. Yeah. And I actually, I had a chance to see some of the new content that we're going to be publishing maybe as early as this week. And I was talking to one of my editors before the show, and I'm just so excited because this is the way that I can start to tell more stories to you guys, because a little bit of like what we've been doing is entertaining stuff, right? More viral, fun content to different sounds. And then I have some clips from the show. So I give you recaps and synopses of, news stories. But the thing that I have not done a great job is actually telling some of my stories, right? From being a law student, going to law school, being a performance artist, right? Doing shows, doing raves, doing all this crazy stuff while I was actually in law school and having multiple careers and what that actually looked like, why it was great, maybe why I wasn't so great at some points. So in any case, you'll be able to start seeing some of that on the social media content. So follow everywhere, but I would definitely say Top Music Attorney Instagram is the place to be. All right. So before we start getting into all things news, I thought that we should run a music video. So I think today what we're going to do is we're going to start with Yungblud. And this particular song is a cover. It's definitely one of my favorite covers because our interpretation of it is dark pop. And so it has a definite different styling from the original, but the lyrics are just so powerful, and at least they super resonated with me. So this song is called God Save Me, But Don't Drown Me Out, originally by Yungblud. Enjoy, and I will be right back. Calm me down before I sleep, 'cause I don't know where I've just been, and the morning seems so far away, and the drugs just hit so wide awake. Not gonna waste my life, 'cause I appreciate when you guys give that Orko credit where credit is clearly due. He's an incredibly talented, not only music producer, but a show producer as well. Man of many talents. I'm glad you like the song. So if you dig it, you can listen on all music platforms, but just search Miss Krystle and you can find all my stuff. Thank you guys. All right, so let's bring in Mr. Producer himself. Here we go. Hey.
Hey, what's good? Shout out to the community. Appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't yet, or if you're watching from a different platform, please come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube. This is our main place that we broadcast out of. We are, as Miss Krystle said before, kind of teasing out that we are going to be making some changes to a little bit some of the schedules of the show for like the next month or so. I don't know when we're going to get into that. I don't know if I was even supposed to say anything yet, but I did.
Well, you don't tease the people. So what are we thinking? Look, it's just for the next month, so let's call it like
Yeah.
spooky changes October, and it's not going to be a permanent thing, but we want to try some variations. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, and that's why it's just going to be incredibly important if you haven't already to come to Top Music Attorney and hit the bell notification. So if you're subscribed, that's great. Appreciate you. Make sure that you hit that bell because that's when we're going to go live and you're going to know right away. Otherwise, you won't get those updates just by subscribing.
Right.
But we are, as you mentioned before, like super hard at work at this, developing this new artist course that we're doing and just really taking the time to make sure that it's right, that it's jam packed. We're filming it, we're editing it, creating different versions for it. There may be just like an audio version of it. We're trying all kinds of different things to really give the independent artists in the community just the most bang for what they can get,
Their
because it
time.
is
Yeah. I
they're
mean,
you're
that's what it is. It's the time
yeah,
investment.
it's all kinds of just, trimming out a lot of the fat and just making sure that you feel really confident in your career moving forward for your artist career, because it's your music business that you're doing. The whole point of this channel is to get you not only legally protected, in your career, but just prepare you and getting your brain to start thinking outside of the box and things that even if you've been an artist for like, 5-10 years already and you still haven't made any headway. I'm definitely in that boat. I was in a band we had a lot of really cool things that we did. I got to play with all of my musical heroes and do a lot of cool flashy stuff, but I don't have anything really to show for it because I really didn't understand the business. I was just like, oh, cool. This is cool. We're like hanging out, playing these big shows, and it's dope, but like I don't have really anything to show for it. And it wasn't until I met Miss Krystle and kind of started learning and going through these courses that we developed and having this fantastic resource of a channel that I have literally have changed my life. I literally am in more of a position to be prepared for what we're doing. And that's why like I didn't start making money at music until I started working with Miss Krystle. Then I started actually seeing some money. I might have had all the cool flashy stuff, but I didn't have $1 in my pocket. Now I got money coming regularly in. There's dope things like placements. We teach you how to get your stuff in TV and film. And that doesn't mean necessarily, it's every Avengers film. It could be a Lifetime TV show. It could be a show that's on MTV. It could be you're getting placements on YouTube channels. There's money to be made, and we just want you to think in other ways so you can stop working that day job. I used to clean swimming pools for like 13 years, and now I just do this stuff full time, and you can too. So
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you guys, so we're excited. We have things to cover. Now, I thought with that all being said, we could jump in and just get into the Taylor Swift story because
yes.
I'm interested and there's things we need to talk about. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is Taylor Swift playing the 2023 Super Bowl halftime show? So here has what sparked this whole conversation. So when the NFL announced at midnight Eastern time that Apple Music is the new sponsor of the Super Bowl halftime show, the Swifties, right? So her fans started to speculate, well, is this connected to what number one that she's doing with her release, because she has an album coming out, right? So with the album released, I think the album is Midnights, right?
Yes.
Plural. Okay.
Yes.
So they're now speculating that, well, it makes sense because there's a couple of things that play in this. Not only does she have this album coming out, and she has said before that she likes to tease, and she likes to basically have these Easter eggs that, will tease for the fans that something is
Mm.
coming. And of course, and so we're always paying attention, and they seem to be really smart. So that's why I'm paying attention. So Midnights comes out October 21st. And in a less obvious reason, Apple Music announced the fact that, obviously Pepsi is no longer doing the halftime show.
Right. Which is
Decade
huge.
long agreement is now done. Okay. And guess who's picking it up? Who is it?
Apple.
That's right. So Apple Music is the one that is picking this up. And so part of the issue was that, Swift was kind of working with Coca-Cola, right? And you can't have the rival
Right.
artist on behalf of Coca-Cola doing a show in a Pepsi sponsored halftime show, right?
Now it's open season.
Right. So that's why they're saying there's too many things happening right now, and so we think that it would also make sense, right? You can't look at Taylor Swift, one of the biggest acts in the world, and to say that it doesn't totally make sense that she would do the 2023 halftime Super Bowl show. So, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, I think you're running out of a lot of really huge acts to really make an impact at some point for these Super Bowl halftime shows. I mean, last year, I mean, you had the Dre and Snoop and Eminem and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, years before you had Shakira and J Lo, and you had Bruno Mars, you had The Weeknd, and so I think it's a no-brainer that they want to get Taylor Swift. I mean, it's time for Taylor Swift to hit the stage for sure.
Now, well, let's play a little bit of devil's advocate, right? So in 2015, that's when Taylor started to really criticize music platforms, which included Apple, right?
Right.
And she was saying, basically you are taking too much from artists, you're not paying them, but Apple was one of the only platforms that actually kind of like listened to her. And
Right.
so she goes, Apple is treating me like a voice of the creative community. So whilst, maybe a little bit of a broken past, they've now come together. So for all those reasons, Apple is the big sponsor for the halftime show. Will Taylor Swift be the pick?
I think it'd be a fantastic opportunity. For Taylor, I think it's a fantastic opportunity if the Super Bowl could get her. I think it'd be a fantastic opportunity for our home state of Arizona
What
to,
do you think? Taylor Swift and Kanye West? Oh, stop it.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be. They were just like totally getting along. Like he's doing
Yeah,
like
I was gonna
famous
say,
with
where
her
are
on
they
the
at? Where are
stage.
they at in their relationship right now? Because I feel like they've had times, obviously, where they had issues, but then they started coming back together, and then one of them did something to piss off the other.
Man, you can't trust Kanye. I
Yeah,
can't trust him
I
up
don't
there.
know how well that would go. Gonna be hard to beat last year's show. So I would say, guys, in the
I
last
would
couple of
agree.
years, what
I
would
would agree.
be your favorite halftime show and why? Leave a comment down below or a comment in the chat and let us know. What do you think? Do you have
You
any
could put your you
favorites
could
in
put
recent
your all
years?
times in there too. I mean, I just don't necessarily want to see Prince 80 times because obviously that was the best of all time.
I remember when Dre got the call. Yeah, I mean,
No,
come
that was huge.
on.
I'll tell you what. That halftime performance, just honestly, just as a kid that grew up in the '90s, and with those artists meaning so much to me, growing up in California as a young child living in Long Beach. I mean, all of that stuff just it felt so good to see it. Like all that music was my teens. I mean, it's my now, quite frankly. I haven't really
Well, no, and just
grown.
setting aside any
Just
nostalgia and hearing obviously some of your favorite songs from your favorite
important
artists,
songs.
everyone did such a good job.
Is insane.
Yeah,
So I mean, but there's been so many good ones. You had the Justin Timberlake one, which was met with a
eh,
little controversy, but it was fantastic. Lady
right?
Gaga
Lady
obviously
Lady Gaga got my vote.
raised the
That's
bar.
one of my favorites for sure.
Uh, it must have been tough. It must have been tough for Timberlake to follow the Lady Gaga thing because that was just insane. I mean, obviously the Katy Perry's one that was here in 2015 was incredible, and actually I don't even really remember being so much of a like a Katy Perry fan, but after that Super Bowl performance, like I was way more like, oh, yo, you don't have to turn off that Katy Perry so quick. Let me hear that one again. What's
No, and
going
I
on with
think,
that?
and so in kind of the conversation of would this
Michael,
even make
yes,
sense for, yeah, Mike, absolutely. But for Taylor Swift, would it even make sense for her to do it? Because as a marketing tactic, this is one of the absolute best, and it's an
the
honor,
best.
but it's one of the best things that you can do as far as, hey, the next thing I'm going to announce is I'm going on tour. Hey, the next thing I'm going to announce is the release of something. So do we
Right.
know if she has anything coming up? So what we know, at least as of now,
Just
is
the
that
well, we
she,
have the Midnights thing, but that's coming up before the
right,
Super Bowl. So I mean,
right.
that could be a precursor to the tour. That could be, I mean, it's an incredible opportunity for marketing. But I would think it'd have to make sense for Taylor Swift for it all just to really line up with her plans. Because at the same point, while it will be an incredible boost for Taylor Swift's tour and album are going to do fantastic with or without the Super Bowl. Like it's her appearing on the Super Bowl will have, I mean, obviously it'll give it a bump. It'll give her way more awareness, get people way more excited. But I mean, that record's just, it's going to be number one. Her tour is going to sell out. Like Taylor has no worry of selling out a tour.
Well, and, it's interesting too because, whereas just the viewership obviously on the halftime show is incredible, and that's why obviously you have these big bucks of people who pay for, those primo spots and the advertisements. I mean, it's a huge event for just our economy in general, but with this age of, digital media, you can get similar numbers. I mean, we see people who are releasing music videos and they'll get, hundreds of millions of views overnight. So
Yeah.
it's comparatively, it's interesting kind of where viewership
And
is
it's
now and whether it's really that big of a deal to be playing the halftime show.
and for artists as well, it's an incredible networking opportunity because everybody and their sister is at the Super Bowl. Um, I got to had the pleasure of going to, a lot of the Super Bowl events from when it was here before. And like that, like it's just celebrities like everywhere. Like I got to meet like Larry David. That was like one of the coolest things like ever.
I
Just chilling out.
know. That's
I
gonna
mean,
be
you never
interesting. So,
know.
like we were saying, it is here, and there's a good chance, just because of what I do as an entertainment attorney, that I will be there actually working. I might even be performing, which is the other side of what I mean, there could be a lot kind of happening. So that could be, kind of exciting. But yeah, when you get a chance to actually meet some of your heroes, people that you love. Winston was suggesting Lizzo. I would love that. Oh yeah, then we got that Michael Jackson, of course.
Yeah. No, I think if you had Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, Kanye West, and Lizzo, I hope maybe you mean like all different shows because that would be way too much on one show. Like they would, you saw. I don't know if anybody out there has seen that Jennifer Lopez documentary where she talks about having to share the stage um, with Shakira and stuff like that, and just kind of how like that was just kind of like they cut their time in half and how to work it. So I can't imagine having that many people
Yeah.
on the same bill.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so on YouTube, I don't pay attention to the Super Bowl much. It was the artist that made me watch it, but Taylor's a great artist. It would be silly for her not to if she gets the opportunity. Now we have, wasn't who was it that had said no to doing the
So
Super Bowl?
right. So there's conflicting reports, and that's why we're just talking about speculation because I haven't seen anything from Taylor's actual official social media. But you have different sources saying no, but they got the inside score. And then you had TMZ just recently reported that she said that she wasn't going to play it because she wanted to make sure that she recorded her albums first because she's re-recording all of her records. And so now she wants to finish all of those first, and then she was like, I definitely want to play the Super Bowl. But she said TMZ is saying that they have a source that said that she already had said no, she is not going to do it. She was asked to do it, but she said no, I want to record my records first, and then I'll consider it. But I'll tell you, um we'll wait and see when the next couple of days, because this story isn't going to go away, because you'll read one blog and it'll say yes, and you'll read the other blog and it'll say no. Now, what I think is going to end up happening is I think you might see her there. Only because the speculation and stuff. I mean, it's a way to test out there to see what the hype is about Taylor Swift, if she's going to do it or not. I mean, she could just, you know what I mean? Like, it could be way more pressure for her to do it, and she could change her mind.
Well, and
Unless
obviously
she's
there's special guest appearances. So I have someone in the chat saying Apple halftime will be Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, and Britney Spears. My uncle works for Apple. I just spoiled it. Ooh. So here's the
Ooh.
thing, right? So we do have a main performer, and then we have special guests. And then in the case you had just said, Shakira, J-Lo, in that instance, they were co-headlining, which,
Right.
was tough for them to figure
Right.
that out. So there's
Which
lots
is
of
a cool,
iterations.
and whether or not you like J-Lo or not, I mean, I definitely think that documentary is very interesting, inside look to how all that kind of works and kind of goes down. Same with the Janet Jackson documentary, which I could not recommend more on that
Yeah,
one,
yeah, it was
because it
really
goes
good.
into that to the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson debacle that happened and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, I think it would be definitely interesting, and I think we will see Taylor Swift doing a Super Bowl at some point, because she's just too large to
Yosef
not.
says it needs to be Avril Lavigne. Do you think Avril's big enough at this point?
I think Avril could do something. Like, if you said like Avril Lavigne, like if they were doing, like, let's do like a 90s thing, right? So they go Avril Lavigne, Britney Spears,
In
and give me.
sync,
No, it's too much, because you're
or is
not
it all
gonna you're
female?
no, it doesn't have to be female, but just I don't think you're gonna get in sync on the stage. But I think, because people want to see Britney, I could even see Britney doing another Super Bowl at some point, but they got to get her. You know, she's got to be ready for it, because she had that hit with, that song with Elton John that she just dropped that came out.
Right?
It would be,
Right?
I don't know. It'd be interesting. There's a lot of people that you could have. I mean, we could speculate all day, but I think that yeah, no, I mean, Avril could be a part of something. I can't see her being like the top thing, like if she
The
was doing a
top
co
billing.
thing. Hmm.
Speaking of Lady Gaga, I think she's still on tour right now. She had posted a video just a few days ago, and she was crying, and I guess she was in the middle of one of her songs, and she ended up just shutting the show down, and she was just obviously so heartbroken about that, right? That's a tough call to make, but I guess it was outside, so it was raining, and there was thunder like hitting the ground close to where her audience was, and she's like, for the safety
Mm.
of you guys, but she's also for me. She's like, I had to take a long break because of my health and I could not perform. So she's like, for all those reasons, and just thinking about what we've seen from these performers as they prepare for this halftime show, they just spend months and months and months,
Right.
because it is
It's
intense
insane.
cardio by itself. You have
I
to
mean, it's a
fill
lot of
that
pressure.
stage.
That's the biggest show, you'll do, and it's going to be taped, and every, nuance is going to be, oh, someone said Avril Lavigne and Blink 182. Okay, you got something. If you can get
That's
the full original
interesting.
Blink 182 together, I mean, I think you might got something there. I'm surprised they don't do like country Super Bowls. I'm surprised there hasn't been like a, like a country thunder type thing, where you have a bunch of like country artists doing something.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I
I'm
think that would
surprised I
be
haven't seen. I'm surprised. I maybe it's because it's not like a dominant genre in music, but I'm surprised that hasn't happened either. Not that I would be necessarily that interested in that, but I'm surprised it hasn't happened.
stop it, Winston. Although I like the way you think. Someone had said Avril's playing a festival in Delaware. Okay, so she's performing as she
Metallica,
should be. Metallica,
Metallica
Blake
would be
and
a good one.
Gwen.
I mean,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Like, but it's curious. But I think we'll definitely see Taylor. I'm gonna be definitely keeping my eyes on the blogs and seeing what they're reporting, to see if she ends up doing it, or if there's some other kind of collaboration.
All right. So for the community in the chat, before we gavel, make sure you drop your final vote. Will Taylor Swift be performing at the 2023 halftime Super Bowl performance? Yes or no? I'm going to say no. I don't think that she's going to perform because it doesn't make sense for the lineup, and she's incredibly smart with her marketing and promotion. So I'm saying no. What do you say?
I say, yeah, no, I don't think she will, but I think it's definitely coming.
All right. And we'll continue to follow and give you guys the updates. All right, moving on.
Let me look in the chat right here. I see somebody says Metallica and Lizzo. That's pretty funny. I'll tell you what would work. Metallica and Kate Bush.
They're gonna bring back Kate Bush for the over the one song
for one song. Could you do like a Stranger Things kind of moment for like the Super Bowl thing? You could have the kids from like Stranger Things kind of come out too in it, like, and do a little thing, and then you have Metallica doing a bunch of songs. You could have like a Miley Cyrus come out with Metallica, because Metallica and Miley Cyrus have done stuff together. So you could do I don't know. I'm just saying, like, that kind of sounds kind of fun. I mean, you have to remember, Kate Bush is still on them charts. She's still on them top 10.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Yeah, she's still there. She just dipped like one spot.
She's just sitting back and collecting checks.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So moving on, our next story is an update. So we had last covered the Swizz Beatz and Timbaland lawsuit. So they basically had been suing Versus because it was apparently their idea for the entire show concept, and so they had given the idea in exchange for sitting back and collecting their checks. So we're going to be talking about the update. So they sued Triller back in August. And so after about 18 months after announcing Triller had acquired the online music service, and it was for an undisclosed sum. So at the time, our understanding was that basically they were trying to use this and the verses, the battles, to push traffic over to Triller, the app. But then what happened was obviously it became a, viral sensation, and we were all watching on Instagram. Okay, so according to the lawsuit, Triller Network agreed to pay the veteran producers a total of $18 million by March of 2022, and an additional $1 million every month for the subsequent 10 months. So Timbaland and Swizz claimed Triller failed to make those payments. They demanded the company cough it up. They wanted the $28 million that was allegedly owed. And at the time of the August lawsuit, a Triller spokesperson responded and with the claim that the company already paid over $50 million in cash and stock to the pair. So basically, they're like, no, we don't owe the money.
Well, no, they said they haven't. They were saying that that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz haven't fulfilled their contractual obligations by having enough stuff. So they're like, but we are paying, and we don't owe them anything because they still owe us.
Right. So then before we get to the update, you guys in the chat, how many of you watched the Versus battles? And then from what we saw, what were your favorites? Now, on our last show, I'm trying to remember what was your kind of standout.
The thing about the Versus, it's because they can be like hit or miss when the actual performance, but even when they're bad, they're still kind of fun. So I mean, I think that, some of my personal favorites were like Brandy and Monica. I really liked the who am I thinking of? I had my notes here. The Gladys Knight, like Patti LaBelle. I liked the Keith Sweat one versus was it Bobby Brown, but for different reasons. I mean, they're both some of my favorite artists, but I enjoyed it for a different reason than maybe they were just phenomenal. Like it was cool. You had the
wasn't there a 2 Chainz and Rick Ross? So that was one,
right?
Ludacris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm blanking out so much on this right now. I literally.
That's okay. We haven't talked about it in a minute.
Locks and Dipset. Oh my God, Locks and Dipset. That was Locks and Dipset. Jesus, that was probably in my top, definitely my top 2 or 3. That was an amazing moment for hip hop. That was definitely one that was for the culture. I'm seeing some other ones. The Fat Joe Ja Rule. I remember. I'm not really a fan so much of Ja Rule or Fat Joe, but that was one that I really liked because it was just such a party. Like, you realize how many hits that those guys had, and just like, a lot of those songs were more, in my life more because I was at clubs or something, and they'd be playing more so than they were because I was playing them. But a lot
and
of
then obviously there
fun.
was, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland. I think they had 2
They're the first
battles.
one,
So
yeah, 2 of
in
'em,
any
yeah,
case,
the
there
rematch.
were a ton. So keep dropping your votes. We'll come back to you
Three
guys
Six
in a second.
Mafia, Bone. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
A Yeah. So the quick update. So on Thursday, the
yeah.
parties announced that they had reached a settlement deal. So Versus has always been a platform that is by the artist, for the artist, and with the people. Swizz and Timbaland said in a statement, "We're glad to come to an amicable agreement." They're like, "You gave us what we wanted, so we're going to say this to the public with Triller and continue giving fans the music and
Yeah.
community they've always wanted." Through the exact details, obviously, we don't get to know that. That is a standard thing, guys. When you have a settlement agreement, there's a confidentiality clause which says no one gets to talk about it.
It's rare. It's rare they'll ever say anything about it, and even then, it's just kind of just like speculation. Like they don't ever really come out with the figures.
Yeah. So going back to the chat on your guys' favorites, Brandy versus Monica was great. Tory
Mhm.
Lanez, French Montana,
I don't
Fabulous.
think I saw that one.
Mm.
I love Jadakiss.
Yeah, and you had said the 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah, 3-6 Mafia, 666.
It's so crazy watching some of these. Would
Snoop
you
and
consider?
DMX, so much fun.
I mean, I think Snoop is one of the rarities where you could say he's a legacy act, but he's still completely current. Like I'm never surprised when I hear him in a new hit song. Like that guy is just never
I love Snoop.
fails to deliver.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited that they're keeping this kind of thing going. Um, it's a great concept. It's a lot of fun to see these acts together. I like it when obviously some acts take it way more seriously than others. But I love it, man. Yeah, Jadakiss. Yeah, I also saw the Redman and Method Man. I didn't see that one either, but I have seen Method Man and Redman in concert like 4 times. So, but I don't think I saw that versus either.
Yeah. So, look, a happy, amicable ending, and hopefully this continues to be beneficial. I hope they continue doing it. It's just so fun, and I have enjoyed these immensely. So I guess what's our gavel moment?
Good
Let's
for
all be
Timbaland and
friends and
Swizz.
make money.
Yeah, good for Timbaland, Swizz Beatz, and I'm excited to see what you guys come up with next.
Hey. All right. So next up for you guys, as always, I have a super awesome music business tip for you. So we're gonna boop we're gonna boop that Orko out of here.
All
Boop.
right, so that sounds kind of crazy.
But
Yeah,
we
before I
enjoy your face.
go, I just want to say thank you guys again for having me out here. Make sure that you are subscribed and you hit that bell notification because we are going to be changing things. I'm not sure when it's going to be. We're probably going to be doing the shows maybe a little bit earlier. So we're playing around with like a 5 or 6 o'clock
I know you
PST.
viewers in the UK may enjoy the fact that we go a little bit earlier because I know it's like 3
And
a.m. for
that's
you
we're
guys.
taking that we're taking that into consideration. We know a lot of you guys are watching like in the middle of the night and just trying to because we're just really trying to make sure that we get this course just exactly what it needs to be, as well as we've been doing a lot of talking with a lot of artists. We've been doing off we've been promoting that we're doing these on air artist submissions, but because we're doing the show a little bit differently, we probably won't do those as much, but we have been doing them offline. So if you do contact us, we are still available kind of offline, but to work them in the show with the schedule, we're taking a break. But this isn't the permanent way. We're just trying some things out as we get things geared up, but you're going to like everything that's coming.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. So moving on. Let's get physical. No, that's not what we're doing. Stop it. For today, I'm very excited for this. So, for today's music business tip, I will be giving you a beginner's guide to breaking into the music industry. And this is something that I was very inspired to talk about today because I, over the last 2 days, have had an unbelievable number of conversations with people trying to do this exact thing. And stick around until the end because what I'm going to do is kind of go through these different music industry jobs that you probably didn't know even existed. So we're going to jump into all that. Before we do so, Okay. All right. All right, guys. I'm getting the audio from the chat. Sorry. Here we go again. Let me refresh. All right. We're back. Hello. Hello to the internet gods. Why is it that like when we kick that Orko out, all of a sudden my audio gets destroyed? I don't know. I think I just need to like automatically refresh now as soon as he leaves because everyone's upset about it. That's what it is. So because now we need to start over, it's okay. Okay. Much better. Awesome. All right. So for today's music business tip, I will be giving you a beginner's guide to breaking into the music industry. Now, this one I'm very excited to talk about because over the last 48 hours, I've had this conversation with such a variety of people, and I feel like I have a really strong understanding of kind of where people are starting from and just feeling this sense of like not knowing where to start, where to go, what do you need to learn, but feeling this, as I call it, the great itch. Just feeling this kind of burning desire that you want to do something in the music industry, in the music business, and like I said, just not knowing where to start. So before we jump into it, I'm not going to sell you anything. All I ask is that if you find value in this video, please like the video and just send it to one person. Everything I do on this channel as far as these free videos is so that I can help you guys, and the best way that we can grow our community is just by word of mouth and sharing. So I definitely appreciate you guys doing that. Now, make sure you stick till the end because I'm going to be discussing some music industry jobs that you probably didn't know existed, and you're going to be very excited. Okay? So, let's start, I guess, with maybe for me, the first step of where to go, what job to get, why it makes sense for you, because a lot of us have that 9 to 5. A lot of us end up finding career paths that allow us to survive and support our families and support ourselves. And so, for some of us more creatives or people who just are very passionate about music, often those are not within the music field, right? Those career paths are more of the traditional career paths. And if you go that route, that's great. But sometimes people just want to know, how do I get into the music industry? So, number one is, of course, you got to learn about the actual music business, right? The music industry in itself. Now, something that you'll hear from me, and you can search my Top Music Attorney YouTube channel, and you'll see a lot of videos talking about the importance of starting your own LLC, regardless of what type of business you start, okay, or what you do in the music industry. And the reason for this is because when you start an LLC, it creates a liability shield around you. So, regardless of whether you're just a service provider, you know what I'm saying? You like to make music videos, you like to, create digital products for clients, like whatever it is that you're doing. By having a limited liability company, it creates protection for your personal stuff. Okay. So if you do something and you piss off your client and now they're suing you and they're like, you did a terrible job and I paid you $5,000 and, you actually did a great job, and they're just, it's a situation you got to deal with. The good news is that pursuant to your agreement and the fact that you had an LLC, they have to sue your LLC. And they can't sue you personally. They can't come after your cars. They can't come after your house. So it's a really important first step that I encourage absolutely everyone that I work with, whether it's a student, whether it's a client. And then on top of that, to have contracts in everything that you do, right? So if we don't have a written agreement, then we have what's called a verbal agreement. If you have a verbal agreement, it's still an enforceable contract, right? So if you and I have a verbal agreement, you do something, you don't do the service, or you don't pay me, I can still sue you. It just gets incredibly more difficult for me to actually enforce that agreement. So having an actual written contract defining simple terms is really, really beneficial. You got to do it. Okay. So other than the LLC, other than getting the contracts, learning about industry standard. And this is why, a lot of what I recommend when I'm working with clients and students, learning about industry standard is important because people will try to take advantage of you, right? So when we're negotiating our deal points, if you're working with an agent, if you don't know that a standard rate for an agent, like a booking agent, would be 10 to 15%. If you have someone being, hey, I'll make you a big star, I'll get you some shows and all this great stuff, and they're like, I'll just take 25%. Well, you don't have red flags going off just to know that obviously they are way overcharging you. They are not entitled to that percentage just based on industry standard. Same with managers. Managers get 15 to 20% at the very most. And they typically are not going to collect from certain things in your career. So that's why not only do you need to understand this, okay, whether you are going to be a manager yourself or you're going to be managed by someone, but in order for you to be someone that just understands how the industry works, you got to know that stuff, okay? And that's why I just really encourage people to continue their learning regardless of what path they go on, right? Because someone might want to be a publisher. They might want to be a manager. They might want to start their own record label, right? They maybe want to just get into merch. They just want to sell, artist and band clothing or merch items. Whatever you're doing within the actual business, understanding what actual industry standard is going to make you a way better and smarter business person, okay? So now we're still within the umbrella of just getting to know how it works in the music business and actually operating in the music business the way you got to operate. And the last piece of, this first section is just learning how to negotiate. Okay, so on Top Music Attorney, there's a video, How to Negotiate Like an Attorney. And this is actually like one of my best videos that you can find because I teach you my literal tactics that I use. I've been an attorney for 8 years. Okay. I know how to negotiate. I know how to get my client an extra $1 million on a deal, and I know how to close. And it's not because I'm just some special, skilled attorney. It's that I've built these skills and I've implemented them, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. So I definitely would say check out that resource. So just learning how to negotiate for yourself is something that is so valuable for no matter what you're doing, right? So even if you go and you're trying to get like a lease for your car, you still need to know how to negotiate. That, by the way, has been very helpful for me as well because I lease all my vehicles. So that's number one. Number two, what you want to do is you want to determine what you're passionate about. Oh my goodness. There's a kitty that just broke in. Oh my goodness. All right, we're just going to give her a moment. I don't know if you guys can hear, but little Ripley just broke in and she says she wants to be in the music business. So here, she can say hi. Hi. All right. So Ripley's very interested and you guys should be too. So number two, when it comes to, generally breaking into the music industry, you got to determine what you're passionate about. And where I start with clients and students is once you kind of get in and understand how the music business works, that's how you can determine how you're going to be in that mix of things. Okay. So if you get super excited with, managing artists and you want to help artists, I've heard people say this, right? Their whole thing is that they're not really trying to make money. They just want to be able to help the artists or the creators that they like. Okay. They want to see super great music videos. They want to hear great music of people that they love. And that's okay, right? So regardless of whether you're going after it because you're looking for that financial payout, because there are insanely high financial payouts when it comes to music acquisitions, music sales, streaming numbers, tours, and merchandise. But if it's just, first of all, determining what your passion is and what you want to do, that's going to be the thing that propels your next steps. Because I think a lot of people feel lost. They're not sure where to start. And so by understanding first the music industry as a whole, and then being like, okay, so what do I want to do within all of that? What am I passionate about? Now you're going to figure out a way to do it. Okay. So for me, being someone who is just really inspired and I love music. And so I became an entertainment attorney. And as part of what I do, a huge portion of my practice is just for music because I love music. Now, I do other areas of law as well. But in addition to that, obviously, I have a music podcast. In addition to that, I release music. I just know that that's the thing that I love. So I have forced it into every aspect of what I do. So that's number 2. Number 3 is then we do need to think about how do we make money. Okay. And this may, perk your ear up because maybe that's the whole thing of what you want. You want the riches and the fame and, all that sexy stuff. And that's cool. Okay. Because that comes with this. And that's why people are very attracted, to it. That's why artists want to be big stars. That's why record labels want to sign artists and make a lot of money because there is a lot of money in it. So what you have to do is you have to determine sustainability. So, part of a lot of what I teach on this channel when it comes to like the financing is determining where you're going to make money and how that connects with what you're passionate about and what you want to do. So going back to the example of, well, if you want to be a manager, okay, well, then you know that you can't just go and sign like 10 artists that have zero following, that are never posting on social media, that aren't making music, because you don't make any money if they don't make any money. And if they're not making money, that means you're going to have to work 10 times harder and it's no longer a partnership. So you want to find talent that is already kind of doing the work, and then you're going to come in and you're going to elevate. Same thing with record labels, right? Don't spend your advance that you're paying to an artist to someone who is not putting in the work. Big record labels these days, they aren't going to do hardly any development. They used to, but they're not anymore because they know that that's a waste of money. It makes more sense because there's so much talent out there to find the artists who are already doing the work, who are making the music and doing their social media and promoting, and they're just going to pour gas on the fire. Okay. And they'll make it more like a partnership. You might be interested in just, sync licensing, right? So just meaning you either are a songwriter and you make the music, or you are someone who buys music and licenses it to TV, film, gaming. That by itself, I have clients, I have students that do just that, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. They don't care about touring, they don't care about performing. And so that's why I go back to, what do you care about? What do you want to do? If you're like, I want to be an accountant for all of the big stars, cool. That's a job too. If you want to be an attorney to all the big stars, that's a lot of fun. You get to meet your heroes, you get to do some cool stuff. And so finding your passion, then figuring out, how do we make this sustainable? Because that's where the failure happens for a lot of people. They lose sight of why they're doing it. They don't have a plan, a strategy. So then the income gets disrupted and then they stop doing it. And then they find themselves in that 9 to 5 doing something that they hate because it still is more stable income. So number four, what we're going to do is kind of combine all of that into one package to then say, okay, so if you're going to dive in and you want to break into the music industry, how do you start and where do you start? Now, for me, I'm very much into just start yourself, right? So some people might be like, you got to go get an internship with someone who's doing the thing that you want to do. And that's cool, right? You can message, 100 different people who are doing the thing that you want to do. You can offer to volunteer your time. You can more softly and gracefully ease into a certain industry if you're coming from something else. But for me, I just was like, F it. Let's just start your own, or in this case, my own record label. What is a record label? It's just a music business because I wanted to own the music. I wanted to be in charge of what was happening with live shows, who was hired, what money was spent. And then I figured out, well, as a label, you can provide label services. Okay. So then you can have income coming into the company to support what you were doing to elevate, whether you're just doing it as an artist, if you are a band. And so you find those revenue streams to support the passion. But you got to think like a business. And, I was talking to someone and he kind of made the point and he's like, well, I'm not trying to be a business. I'm just trying to do X, Y, and Z with artists. And my response to him was, what are you talking about? You are a business. Anyone who provides services or makes goods and sells them, even if it's just you are technically a business. And so I go back to my first point. Start an LLC. Okay. Even if it's just you got to still protect yourself and start to change that mindset of, no, in order for me to succeed, to break into the industry, to get started, I need to be in a position where I'm already going to excel because I know how this all works. Because if you jump in, people will take advantage of you. There are not nice people in this world. I'm not going to say it's just the entertainment business, it's every industry. There's a lot in the entertainment industry. And so if you set yourself up for success in that way, then you'll already be on the path and then you will start to see where the roadblocks are and you will get faster at overcoming them. And so for me, I was talking to someone today and I'm just like, I had a lot of failures and I had to learn those hard lessons. So that's why I do these free videos. It's to just teach you guys how to do it yourself, to do it for free, and just to make sure that you can, stay protected legally along the way. So what I would say is be ready to jump in, but take the time to go to school for yourself. And you can do that right here on YouTube. You really can. Of course, there are courses, there are things that you can go through, but I'm very much an advocate of, maybe if you don't have any money, just go the free route, watch videos and teach yourself because it will be the best investment of time that you can make. And you will be so happy because, guys, when it comes to regret, it's a painful thing. And you don't want to have that moment in 10 years, in 15 years, where you're like, yeah, I kept the stable, comfortable job because it just was stable and comfortable. And I had the income, I had the health insurance, and you didn't actually pursue the thing that you wanted. And so the kind of overall purpose and my thought of wanting to make this video is that you want to jump into the music industry. There's something that you want to do. Give yourself the permission to explore that. Give yourself the permission to actually go down that road. And I know that not just for you, but for me, it's going to be one of the best payoffs of your life. So make sure you come and also follow on Top Music Attorney on Instagram, as well as right here on Top Music YouTube. And I'm so excited for you guys. And I know that you're going to watch this and you're going to take action. I'm so excited for what comes next for you. Hey, let me go back to the chitty chat. What's up, Jacob, over from Instagram? Perfect. Watching from you guys in the UK. You guys in the UK are amazing. I know it's like the wee hours of the morning. How do you do it? It's like 8 p.m. and I'm like, ooh, we're feeling a little tired over here. What about statute of frauds? Well, in regards to Jacob, I bought the All You Need to Know About the Music Business 10th edition book. Cool. That's the Industry Bible, and they wasn't lying. I learned a lot. Yeah, so the All You Need to Know About the Music Business, definitely one of those, take a look at it. It definitely goes very deep dive into all the nuances, and it's a great book to have on hand for sure. All right, there's a question. Miss Krystle, that Orko, I'm a producer starting my LLC. Is there a way to release sample packs under the LLC name, but still get my producer name used in song credits when my samples are used? Really good question. So what you want to do is when you do the sample pack, you want to make sure that people are still signing some kind of agreement or that you have terms of use on your website or in a Dropbox link, wherever you have the actual sample pack. So what you do is you say the LLC name. So if it's Pretend LLC 123, you say Pretend LLC 123 is the licensing agent. And then in a different section, you go, as it relates to credit, you have to make sure that when you use the sample, anywhere you release this digitally, whenever you possibly can on social media, make sure to say produced by, Johnny Depp. Whole notes. And so that's how you specify the uses. So you say you're agreeing pursuant to Pretend LLC 123. When you give the credit, it needs to be this way. A from South Carolina. I always talk to you guys directly. That's why you need to come and say hi in the chat because that's what we're here to do. New fan, thank you so much. Hey, yes. We're having lots of chats on Top Music Attorney Instagram. It's been amazing. All right, guys. So I hope you found that tip helpful. It's definitely something that I have just been talking about for the last 2 days and thinking about. And so I thought I would share it here. So, of course, don't just follow on Top Music Attorney. Some of you aren't even aware, but I'm also an independent artist myself. It's my passion, right? So I said for that step, what was it? Step two. Step two of what's the basis of your passion? Why do you want to do it? I just love music. I love creating art. But in any case, so all my social media platforms are Miss Krystle. It's just at Miss Krystle Live. So if you want to follow and check out some of my music, you can. And then just as far as additional resources, go to topmusicattorney.com. I have that free PDF that you guys can get, which has 28 music business secrets to help your education and learning how the music business works, right? And learning how the music industry works, again, is that first critical step to kind of jumping in and seeing if this is a good fit for you. So this is the the Music Business Podcast, where you guys learn all about the music business and how to stay legally protected. We will be back next week, but make sure you are not just subscribed here on YouTube, but you actually turn on the bell notifications, because we're not sure just yet if we're going to be back on Tuesday. We probably will. But just make sure you turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss anything. I think I got one more question, and we're going to go and watch one more music video. Do record labels charge smaller unknown indie labels more to sample a classic song than unknown label? It just depends as far as, sampling rates, right? Because obviously you can go to websites, you can sample, and, some's pretty reasonable. Others will charge quite a bit. If they're like well-known songs, I still have found that they can negotiate. And that's the one thing. If you are able to get into touch with the applicable record label, and they're like, hey, the rate is like $7,000 to sample this particular, loop. Come back and be like, hey, we don't have that, but this is what we do have. Because if you're like, I have $3,000 or I have $2,000, they might still take that, right? Because if they're not getting regular uses and samples of that, they might still take it because it's income. And so just know there really is no standard deal. And it comes down to negotiating. And that's why I said that earlier in the live stream. Making sure you know how to negotiate is so important, not only in your career, your music business, but like literally in life, because everything that we do is a negotiation. I say that even when it comes to like personal relationships, guys. Do you know what I'm talking about? You have to negotiate everything, even with loved ones. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, save yourself. One of my favorites. Thank you. Notifications on. There we go. And you're welcome. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Up next, we're going to be doing Trick is to Keep Breathing, which is my cover by the band Garbage. And in this video, I'm just going to tell you because we'll watch it together. In the video, you'll see at the end, I'm like in the rain. And it was 50 degrees outside, which for some of you, you're like, it's no big deal. For us Arizonans, where it is like, 80 degrees, we're like, oh man, it's really chilly today. I need a jacket. 50 degrees, it's very cold. And I'm in a dress and it's raining and I was freezing to death. And it was so wonderful and exciting and fun. So anyway, watch for that when we get to it in the music video and we can laugh together. I'll be in the chat saying hi. And you know what? Blanca got a question. Let me hit that. That's why we're here. Blanca's asking, can you add a verse or chorus to a cover without changing the melody and overall lyrics? Okay, so when it comes to doing a cover song, you are protected to do a cover song and it's okay, but so long as you keep the essence of the cover song. So if you add a whole new verse or a whole new chorus, you're now changing it and it's not a cover song anymore. And the original songwriter and the owner could argue that should have received some kind of licensing because it's more like sampling, even though you didn't take a sample. Obviously, you came up with your own interpretation, but that could lead to some issues. So it's a common question. I'm glad that you asked it. But the answer is, in order for it to be a true cover, you actually need to keep the structure of the song with the same lyrics and that kind of thing. So I hope you find that helpful. You guys have an amazing weekend. Watch the video together. I love your faces. I'm Top Music Attorney, Miss Krystle, and I will see you guys next week. Now watch my cover.